Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here. I thought I'd do a collection update on a particular system that I like, which is the PC Engine. Mainly trying to concentrate on getting the shoot 'em ups. It was actually NinjaBearHug who suggested if I was going to do a collection update to do the PC Engine. He's recently got one and is into them. I suppose would be interested in knowing some good games. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I have quite a few complete in case and then a whole lot of loose. So what I'll do is I'll go through the ones in case in a little bit more detail, because obviously they're the ones that I've collected specifically in most cases, and then I'll very quickly go through the loose ones just so the video doesn't get too long. And they're in no particular order. I've sort of sorted them by a little bit by brand or programmer, and not really by type. So the first one up is actually one I haven't had that long, Image Fight, and I must admit I haven't really had a chance to give it a proper play, but it's a vertical scrolling shooter with quite big bosses and quite good graphics. It's an IRM shooter, so recommended for those who like vertical scrolling shooters. So I should have arranged an outpile. Now next, of course, I think it's pretty much a must for shoot 'em up fans on the PC Engine is IType. Now the HUCard version is split into two parts, IType 1 and IType 2. So basically you get 4 levels on each HUCard. There is an IType Complete if you have a CD based system. I don't have a CD based add-on, or obviously a Duo, which would be lovely one day. And this would be a game that I would buy again in the CD format just to get that one. So, but highly recommended. Pretty much the best version of IType on any home system. Now, slightly different game, Dungeon Explorer. It's a little bit like, in a way, a little bit like Gauntlet. It's actually quite good multiplayer. Of course, you need a multi-tap, and not a bad game. Pretty boring cover though. That's all. Now this is just one of those ones that I happen to have. I'm not a wrestling fan, Manic Pro Wrestling, and I find the wrestling type of games on the PC Engine, not that I like wrestling games to start with, but they're actually particularly poor. Now another vertical scrolling shoot 'em up, a little bit more expensive to get and a bit harder to get, is Raiden, but it truly is the best home version of Raiden. Although saying that, if you look very carefully, there is a copy of Raiden for the Jaguar up there. I have never played that, so I suppose it's subjective to me playing that and comparing it one day. But the version on here is excellent. It runs at really good speed, and it has pretty much the only difference between this and the arcade that I can see is that when you die, you don't immediately get spawned on the screen. You actually get flipped back a little bit to almost like a micro save point in the level. That's a bit the only difference between that and the arcade game. Now next we have the 2 pinball games that I think if you're into pinball at all, you should have on the PC Engine. So we have Devil Crash, which is the first game, and quite good, and the next one is Alien Crush, which actually shows the graphics a little bit more. That's what they are, and the playfield does flip in several different sections, and there's mini games and things like that. Now another game that's really good for people who are fans of the Gradius series, and this is called, and also a lot of characters. So this is Odious. So it's a game that plays in the style of Gradius, and I'll show the back because there's some nice screenshots back there by reflection. But it uses characters from a lot of other games. Especially Konami games. So you can see Twin Bee up there, and the Penguin from Antarctic Adventure, and all sorts of characters. And they're actually, it in itself is a good fun game. And another more classic arcade shooter is Galaga 88, and that is a truly enjoyable formation shooter with a lot. The original Galaga obviously is a fun game to play, but Galaga 88 adds a bit more variety and interspace levels, and it's got quite good sound, so it's a very nice arcadey type game. Now another shooter, we have Final Blaster, is another vertical scrolling shooter. I think this is the one with the larger sprites. I could be mixing that with IType. Another game I probably need to play a bit more. I've been a bit distracted with some of the other games, but it's actually quite a good shooter in itself, not very expensive either. Same as that IType, that's not very expensive either. And this is a game that is actually really cheap. You can pick up a copy very cheap, and is excellent, and it is Xevious. Not only does it have an excellent version of the original arcade game, it has several other, it has a an extended version as well. Sorry, I almost got confused with the PS1 game that I picked up recently. So there's two different versions on there, the normal and extended, and then extended is similar to that PS1 version of Xevious I got recently as well, but very cheap, excellent to pick up. And I have one of the racing games, left a sticker on there. I don't think it even cost me that, so this was very cheap. I think I only got it for like $2 or something like that. It's a top-down racing game, very good. It's not Twin, it's the other one. Sorry, it hasn't got the real name on there, and I should have looked it up beforehand, shouldn't I? Okay, next we have Altered Beasts, which is an alright game as far as the beat 'em up. I've actually started getting into beat 'em ups a bit more, so I may replay this and may enjoy it a bit more, but probably not the best beat 'em up in the world, but it's not too bad, and the sprites are huge. Now, another one of the games, and definitely one of my favourites, it's probably the game I play the most at the moment after Raiden on this and IType, is Darius Plus. Now this one can run into being a little expensive, but if you're a fan of the Darius series at all, this is one of the better versions. It has excellent music, very good flow in the gameplay, and I mean, it's quite hard, but definitely worth getting. And another game that was very cheap and I got sealed, I've opened it of course because I played it, but you can get it for only a few dollars, is Dazenpu, and it's a bit like Flying Shark, I suppose, on the Genesis, if you're familiar with that game. And there is actually Dazenpu for the Genesis. I think NinjaBearHug himself actually has it and played it recently, and this is quite a good game, and it plays a little bit more sedate than other games, which is good because it allows you to get into it a bit. It's actually quite good fun to play. Now another one that I got really recently and I've actually enjoyed is Download. It is a little rare though, doesn't come up that often. I was lucky to get this copy in such good condition and for such a good price. And I think it was Kid Shuriken actually, he found a copy of Download 2, which is a CD game, so another reason to get a CD at some stage, and it itself is quite a good game. But this Download is quite good. There's no score in the game, it is simply about trying to get through the game, and you've got quite a few continues, so and it's quite good fun to play. Now another game that was cheap and was actually a little bit of a disappointment was Rastan Saga 2. The sprites are just really big and just don't look right. I don't know whether there is a Rastan Saga 1 for the PC Engine, it might be a bit better, but that I can remember the original arcade game, and that was a little bit of a disappointment. So yeah, alright for completionists, but probably not one that I'll play a lot. Okay, now next, another really good game on the system is Gradius. It's very close to the arcade game, although sadly it still does suffer from a little bit of slowdown, which is quite common for Gradius on a lot of systems, but is not prevalent in the sequels, which I'll show you in a second. So it just must have been they converted a particular set of base code where they had an issue that they didn't fix across multiple systems, but it's still quite playable, and the slowdown isn't as bad as the SNES slowdown that I saw. I can't remember who was playing it the other day, and the slowdown was dreadful. Nowhere near as bad, so a bit more playable. And of course, one of the sequels is Salamander. Now this game is, although insanely hard, is a really, really good conversion, and well worth getting if you can find a copy of it. It's not too expensive, it's not right up there with some of the others, but a very, very enjoyable game. Probably I haven't actually played it for a little while because I've been concentrating on other titles, but it's an excellent game to play. And yes, sorry about the number of shoot 'em ups, but that's mainly what I collect. And another one now called Violent Soldier. I hadn't heard of this one until I saw a video on YouTube, and it looked very interesting. Had a hunt around, and it was quite expensive. But then once you start looking for something, I got lucky and I got it for probably half of the normal price. And it's well worth it. It's actually side-scrolling shooter. Different modes you can put your ship into to you know, spread your weapon and change how the weapon is used, making the front of your ship invulnerable for certain periods of time. It's quite hard as well to get through, so quite a challenging one. Well worth it if you can get it for a decent price, I suppose. Alright, that's the end of my complete part of my collection. And now we have the loose ones, some of these that I wouldn't mind getting complete as well, but I'll go through them fairly quickly. So Bomberman, great for multiplayer. Sidearms, not a bad shoot 'em up in its own right as well. Dragon Spirit, an excellent version of the arcade game and well worth getting. Now some of these I don't know the names of, so this one, it's a bit of a it's not really a role-playing game, although that's what you would think it would be. It's a bit of a beat-em-up exploring one. Now this one is an excellent shooter. It's one of the better in the Soldier series, and it's Final Soldier. Doesn't want to focus for you. Around my face, maybe? Yeah. Okay, camera's going to play up on me. An excellent game, Shinobi, sent to be my 1MSX to go. Final Lap Twin, which is the sequel to the I think that was Final Lap, that other one. So, and here's another one in the Soldier series. So Superstar Soldier, also sent to be my 1MSX to go. I wouldn't mind a complete copy of that one day. It's an excellent game. It is a bit easier than the others. I can actually play that game for ages and not get killed. I believe that's Necromancer. It's another platform type game. It's not too bad. Zip-Pang, haven't played that one a lot. Legend Bout. Yeah, Champion Wrestler, another wrestler game. It's really not very good. Yeah, sorry, just I can't remember the names of all of these loose titles. This is a comedy type one, an acquired taste. This is Super something or other, but it's a series of games. You see this character a lot appearing, and they're mainly platformers. Another wrestling game. Baseball game, it's actually not too bad. Bit of a beat 'em up game. Again, it's a little like Wonder Boy. I don't know whether I got time to edit in the names and look these up again. I did know some of them. Another platformer, cutesy type of game. Oh, there we go. There's the second one in that series I was talking about. I don't remember that one at all. So I was lucky enough to get a whole lot of these loose Hue cards with another PC engine that was broken, which I repaired and sold on. Pac-Land, not a bad version of the Pac-Land game. Formation Soccer, it's actually quite a good little soccer game if you're into soccer games. This game is a bit of a platformer. I wasn't that impressed with the graphics on that one. They look a little unfinished. Second Bout, it's another wrestling fighting game. Clax. If you're into Clax at all, or Tetris or anything like that, it is an excellent version of the game. B-Ball, a cute puzzler, you know, sort of like single screen game where you've got to try and work out how to get the ball around different places. The third one in that particular series, which is a bit like platformers. And then we have, it's actually quite a good tennis game. I haven't ever tried a two-player, but it doesn't play too bad one-player. I wish I could remember this game. This game, wasn't a too bad game. Platform, a bit Shinobi-like. Then we have Mahjong tiles. And another baseball game. I think the other baseball game was better than this one. And last but not least, I have F1 Circus. What's the point? Maybe that one isn't F1 Circus. So I do believe there may be 3 car games, or maybe I've got a duplicate and I've got a spare that I didn't realise. But anyway, that is all of my Hue cards for my PC Engine. I also do have 2 CD titles, which are Wise, or Yeez, as it's properly pronounced, sorry, 1 and 2, because I collect the Yeez series as a whole. And maybe this year I will either get a CD add-on, or I will get a PC Engine Duo or Duo R. That would be nice, and then I can start collecting more of the CD titles. But if I see some of the CD titles on special, I'll grab them. There is also an extended version of Raiden on CD. I'm not 100% sure of the difference. Also, when we went through that pile, the Darius game is also one of the games that will work on the extended version of the PC Engine. There are only 6 games, but it's the only one that will also work on the standard PC Engine. So when you put it in the extended one, it will use the extra features. So that's a good thing to know. So that's probably the first time I've ever done a individual collection video. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Thanks for NinjaBearHug for suggesting. I'll put a link to his channel down below. And I'll catch you all later.